Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Brew with Memli. And in this video, we will compare side by side two different conical shaped brewer, the classic V60 versus the SD1. For both of those coffees, I'll be using our Finca Tamana SL28 wash process. The filter here is an Abaca filter. Now let's dig into our SD1. So the advantage of the SD1, or the difference claimed, is significantly reducing channeling and bypass, because the filter match perfectly the sides and the ridges, sorry, the side and the wall of the dripper. There's only three little lines to allow a little bit of air gap in order not to clog, basically, because you need some air gap. And you have those ridges. Those ridges are outside, not inside. They're just meant to fit. You know, like some brewer, it's hard to know if it's level. That way you know exactly that it's level. So I'll be using 15 grams of coffee for 225 grams of water, 4 equal pours. So same classic recipe. I'm at 8.5 on my Deeding, so same grind size, same everything, same water. We're just going to taste the difference in those two brewers. So I'll be back with the water and the brew and explain a little bit more about the results as I'm brewing, and then of course we will do my favorite exercise, triangulation. Let's say we are going with 2 pours of 60 grams each, doing the same. So I've been using the SD1 for the past 2 weeks with different kind of coffee, and what it does, it significantly reduce your flow rate and increase your brew time. So don't be afraid if you have it, your brew time to exceed 3, 4, sometimes 5 minutes. Will it create over extraction? That's what's interesting, because it really creates a very well balanced cup of coffee with nice texture. And what is incredible is how it smoothened the aftertaste. Those are my first observation with this coffee. Of course, you are going to trade off your clarity a little bit and your depth for a better texture quality and a better aftertaste. So far, I've only played it with uh, lightly roasted washed coffee, some medium roasts, natural, one anaerobic coffee. Haven't played it with a lot of dark roasts, mm, nor some rare beans. But all in all, it performs quite well. It's very, very interesting to see that um, you will be finishing past 3, sometimes 4 minutes, and still taste a very smooth cup of coffee. So the experience is more on that texture and that finish, rather than the V60 showcase really well the clarity of it. The difference is really the absence of ridges. So every ridge creates an air gap between the slurry, which is the coffee bed, and the brewer. And the more air gaps you have, the faster the flow, provided that those air gaps are even, right? And that's how, if you don't wet your paper filter correctly and making sure it stick to the ridges, you will have different profile of air pockets. You have to make sure the air pocket is the same to have the same uniformity. They solve that issue by just removing all the ridges, basically, and just have 3 dots for the air path. But it will accelerate the sorry, decelerate the flow a lot. Like, I'm almost finished here, and I still haven't done my third pour. So 2 minutes 56 is the end of my V60. And for this one, I have one last pour. So we'll wait and see when it finishes. And we are done at 4 minutes and let's call it done at 4 minutes 15 seconds. You see how completely much longer, 2:56, 4:14. Let's remove our brewer and do a triangulation test. So very first intuition, I think it's this one. Um, brightness, like very elegant here, very juicy, and here it's very smooth. Like the texture is so creamy. Still quite present there, but much smoother here. So I'll go for that one. But I want to discuss even without being 100% sure because you never know. So let's taste our, what I think is the V60. A classic, bright notes. So in this coffee, we have floral, tangerine on the brighter side, and some milk chocolate and maple syrup on the sweeter side. You can definitely get those floral, those tangerine notes in the front head, and then front end, and then slightly smoother in the finish with a syrupy mouthfeel. It's not super creamy, and a very sort of medium length, borderline. It's not really dry. It's just a little. It's not too long. More like a medium aftertaste. Very smooth. This one, the finish is so lingering, so pleasant. The texture is creamy. But in terms of flavor complexity, I don't get the tangerine. Much more the maple syrup and the chocolate. Um, so I think it's this one. Yes. Here we go. What can we do? We can, of course, grind coarser if we want to find those. But the thing is, by grinding coarser, it will still take some time to drip through, and we may lose what this brewer is known for, which is that texture aspect, that finish that is really pleasant with this brewer. But we're sacrificing our clarity. The risk with grinding finer here, sorry, coarser, is that we can end up with a lack of depth and a very horizontal taste without any nuances. So as it cools down, it gets slightly more nuanced. So maybe it's just a temperature issue. Oh, interesting. Still delicious. So I truly believe that the SD1 creates an amazing cup of coffee, and I think it's a more well-rounded cup of coffee, quite balanced. If you would take the actual sort of in the book definition of balance of brightness, sweetness, texture, aftertaste. I also think that it can be an excellent tool for cafes, coffee shops that serves a wider audience, and not just the people interested in that flavor complexity or the detail, but for coffee lovers who are beginning the journey into specialty coffee, talking, and that's more about customer service and hospitality, talking sometimes too much about flavors and complexity, it's quite cool, but it can be daunting. It can be a little bit non-approachable. This brewer, uh, produced by the Indonesian Brewers Cup champion, creates a cup of coffee that will be loved, appreciated by more people. And so that's why I really love this tool. I still have to play it. I think I love this coffee not with washed. I love this brewer not with washed coffee because I like the complexity of washed coffee, but with some very anaerobic coffees. I also try with some like infusion stuff. Those all those super funky coffees. I only did 2 tests with a anaerobic double fermented stuff, but I need to do more tests with it. But I still believe that the SD1 can be an excellent addition if you're in an extended range of coffee beans at home or in a cafe. Thank you very much for watching. Don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and comment this video and share it with your coffee friends. And see you next time for more videos.